Hello, friends, and welcome back to Playing Tribute to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Great Ace Attorney Adventures, where we are going to be talking to Mr. Eggs Benedict, Eggert Benedict, for if he can be brought into the court and finding out what his actual name is, which apparently, now that I remember, actually, there were initials on his cane, and it said AG. So, there's that. So we're gonna find out who that is. But apparently he's in the communications job. So that's interesting too. Ah, Gina, how are you holding up? I'm starting to feel quite warmly toward her frequent cold shoulders now. Ginny! Are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything? What's the point, eh? Why go to all trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me? What? Well, you saw it. That picture. What picture? Oh, you mean this. The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder. Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that's gonna think I did it, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Surely you gotta have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent. Of course I can. Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night. Runa's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you. Alright then. It was after we'd had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? And we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. Oh, we're flashing back. That's what I thought. Oh, maybe not. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped down and went down the street to the 2 to 1. Windibank's place. I had to know. If Iris' story was there or not. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I don't know what it is about or nothing. But if you ask me, there's something in that Sholmes don't like. Something what you don't want people reading. So that's why I lied to Iris about the sticking in lug with the Windibanks for safekeeping. At least, that's what I thought about the time. So you broke into Windibanks. I didn't know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea how that was going to kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was as dark as you'd like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of wick. And that's when... What do you think you're doing? Ah! I nearly died, I did. Next thing I knew... I grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it at the air like, I don't know what. Ah, you're the girl who was in here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery. The manuscript. Have you got it here? Did Sholmes leave a load of papers with you? Oh, did Sholmes leave a load of papers with you? A story? I beg your pardon. The Hound of something or other. If it's here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers. I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see if it's here, that's all. Oh, you want to see it, do you? I want to know if Sholmes really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you? So then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there, all right. The manuscript. Shelms weren't lying after all. You did all that just to check for me, Jenny? Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of the shop. The Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes. What was that noise? Someone was breaking in. Dear me, is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about? I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry. I better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back? Oh, well, I'll come with you and... Now don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances. And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back into the shop. I hung back in the storeroom, like he said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help, see? So I was just about to go out to the storeroom myself when... I heard a couple of shots go off. 2, I think, almost at the same time. And then there he was, right at my feet, lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it, quick as you like. Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Windibank might come for you. Yeah, so I went to grab the old cove's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Windibank was a goner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. And that must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I'd done, the old cove might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did, but they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was if I kept telling lies, it'll make things even worse for me. It'll be alright, Jenny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Runa's about to put the real culprit through the mill. That cove what was there in the afternoon? That Agard Benedict? I still remember how he looked at me like I was nothing. He was there at night. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave it all in Runa's capable hands now, Ginny. Mr. Naruto? Yes? How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGilded, we told you a whole pack of lies. And you got the Boggrotter off with him, even though he was a killer. No, I could never forget that. Oh. I did what I thought was best at the time. But the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But why I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty bad. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who'd done it. Oh, Runo. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me and was prepared to defend me. My best friend. Ryunosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me and I'll do the rest. I was so happy I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, to believe in the other person first. This is a new, like this straight-on look of hers is new. What are you saying? I promised you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. Even though I'm Diver and no good liar, you're not likely guilty. I know that. Eh? That's right! You're our friend, Ginny. Iris, we know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust. Yes! That's really all we need to know. Exactly! Mr. Naruto, Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representatives. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately. Yes, of course. Thank you. I'd been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is it at last. This is it at last. The final chapter. The final battle. Wish me luck, Susanto-san. And I hope you're watching over me too, partner. I thought I was gonna say Cosmo. To be continued. No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine? It's like, oh, that wasn't a trial part. That was just like 15 minutes of recess. Whatever. They've made space for the third. Hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Zieks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness? The subpoena was delivered to the communication station on the landmarks immediately. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem. I see. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Gregson's premises of the case heard by the court this morning. And the glaring omission of a third bullet in your report is a serious blood expert. Yes, I can only apologize, my lord. And although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood in the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom. It's a big mistake to cross Hurley. A very big mistake. My lord, the subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building. Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay. Mr. Egbert Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon. And certainly not like this. Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such short notice, sir. But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of London society, it is my pleasure to oblige. I don't remember what I did for his voice, but I remember I was trying to be fancy. Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record. Ashley Graydon, Communications Officer. Mr. Graydon and I both work at London Central Communications Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. You were apprised of the situation by a court officer on your way here, I presume? Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at a pawnbroker's on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation, indeed. This really is beyond a joke. Very well. Without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath. The dancing. Gladly, my lord. Gladly. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation, even if certain parties here present a claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some Scaramouche detective's homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence. So, you deny the accusation completely, do you? I must say, I am dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by the self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld. Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today. By golly! How long am I expected to be detained here? If following the defense's cross-examination your involvement in this matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately. Good. Then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation at least. Let's not hold up Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary, counsel. Proceed with cross-examination. So we meet again, Mr. Egbert Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon? My apologies. You are Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met. If you say so. Ashley Graydon, enchanté. So. Nice catch. I trust we can conclude this quickly. Ugh, but I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do. I mean, in theory, he should be injured with a bullet, right? Press everything.
Hold it!
Yes, we even met in the very pawnbrokery where the crime took place in the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at the time. It was Mr. Egbert Benedict, I believe. And tell me, what made you—
Objection!
This is here to testify about events that took place that night. He's under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions. You can't be serious. Thank you, because I certainly do not feel inclined to answer such an appropriate question. So it's going to be evasive, is he? In an effort not to give anything away. This could be tricky.
Hold it!
Have you seen these two men before? This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals. Said by a man who introduced himself as Egbert Benedict. I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer there in the black. This is a farce. Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in a British court anyway? That would be the Lord Chief Justice. Well, needless to say.
Hold it!
Clearly. Where were you at around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir? I thought just past the hour, which I would normally retire. Certainly, I was not in the company of these rapscallions. You're able to prove that.
Objection!
Listen carefully, my learned Nibonese friend, for you appear to be under gross misapprehension on this point. What do you mean? The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence. If your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene, the obligation lies with you to prove your assertion. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable questions to the witness. A silent victory wiggle. Thanks.
Hold it!
Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Sholm's chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such. But am I not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? How can you be so sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants. Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholm's chemical is able to differentiate different... Spare me the science lesson. Different blood samples, why? Okay. Who is this Sholm's character anyway? Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a renowned detective. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective. Well, a great detective, you say. Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we?
Excuse me!
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin? What? Me? No, the Mr. Skulkin next to you. Right, I've had enough to hear with this. How many times I gotta tell you? Yes, I know. You're the big bro. You're not big bro sulky. Mr. Nash Skulkin. God blimey, Governor. You what? It's not the case. Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share the thought with the court? Me thoughts? I didn't have none of them. Must have been him. You what? Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke? Nothing, honest, Gov, nothing. I was just thinking. If he waves his arm like that much more, it'll open up the wound again, that's all. What wound? Where he took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. It ain't gonna be healed up yet. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for him. And... Oh. Mr. Graydon, did you hear that? What? Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm. My lord? Yes, Mr. Graydon. I've no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly I should be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. Finally, they're bringing up the height of the bullet in the wall. Perhaps you'd allow the court official to examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand, as if in pain. You don't want the blood to soak through that lovely white shirt of yours, do you? White suit of yours. No, I refuse. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to the common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at the insinuation that I was in any way involved. You claim to have nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery. My lord, the defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony. Yep. Nothing to do with the pawnbrokery? I think you went a little bit too far there. Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon. Do I present him? It doesn't say anything about him, even though I know that this was what he was after. Might as well give it a try. Or should I press first?
Objection!
Huh, okay. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why, is it supposed to mean something? This disc was, until the day of his murder, in pawn in Mr. Windibank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? As I've reiterated a number of times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. Numerous times, I'm sorry. I've never seen that disc before in my life. It may have escaped your notice, but there is a small smear of blood on the disc. Ah, yes, resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps. That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In a skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of a smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch. Good gracious, indeed it must. Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow the court official to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse us to allow to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with a smear of blood on this disc. Well, it would seem I underestimated you. Oh, there it is. That's the voice I wanted to do. What is the meaning of this? It's okay. It was like he was pretending this whole time. Do you admit it now? You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant? Order, order. Well, Mr. Graydon. It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of pawn? What? It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now. As you wish. Though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder. There's a note on the disc saying for McGilded, but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, filthy gutterling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night. I mean, that is true. He knew it wasn't there. Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGilded, you say? The famous London philanthropist? Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder? Yes, my lord. The one and the same. Good lord, Mr. Graydon. Are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself were acquainted? Yes, that's correct. Order! Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again. According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windibanks. It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it? In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Windibanks in order to get his hands on the disc for some reason. Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please.
Hold it!
Would you care to explain how this belongs to you? As you will observe, communications officers such as myself commands fine salary. You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir. So you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse while on errand. Which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question. You claim that was your overcoat? Obviously. And in my haste, I clean forgot. The music box disc was in its pocket. And yet, there's a note on it that reads for McGilded. I'm a collector of rare and unusual music box music. I first met Mr. McGilded as in the gentleman's club in the city, but I was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area. So the disc in question, it's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. But then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly. Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she? No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury. Oh dear, this is complicated, isn't it? Let's leave it alone for the time being.
Hold it!
So you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag? That's right. Despite being mindful of danger when walking the insalubrious area of her kind frequent...
Objection!
Insalubrious. Miss Lestrade did no such thing. Well, of course you would take that stance, but the girl is a regular offender. You came to the pawnbrokery that day and prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You were looking for her, that's what brought you to Windibanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGilded's disc.
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense. Nonsense. I concur with the prosecution. And counsel, you will refrain from conjecturing in this way. Is that clear? Yes, my lord. But it was proven. We did all this already. It was a whole song and dance. Then I will continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to Windibanks before? Only once, for the purposes of pawning something, but like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So when you noticed that the pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her, is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, of course, such is the art of the pick purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbrokery at once, in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place. He can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this.
Hold it!
Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. This is the very man. Apparently the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilded. As evidence. So
Excuse me!
Is something wrong, Inspector? What do you mean? The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way. No, Timmons. It's nothing. Leave it alone. Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilded's possessions? I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine. What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets. Yes, exactly. You should know all about that. Miss McGilded died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to life, yet had a dark side too. Where are you going with this, Fanzeeks? I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they? That's enough. Just like me have duties to carry out that we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know. Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector. The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first. What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeeks here. Well, it appears that the Inspector has revealed all he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony. Gladly, my lord.
Hold it!
But perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items. No, not at all. Oh? A valuer was brought by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or garden bric-a-brac. In that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilded's disc. Have you not been listening, then? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more in the shop that night than I. As I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break it. So there was nothing of McGilded's left in the shop that night. I think this might have been after. I wonder if that's really true. You know, if you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm dying to see that irritatingly assured expression of his crumble. Me too. McGilded slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had it deposited in the banks. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket. There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pearly white teeth. The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilded as well. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day. But Gregsy's being very strange about all this. Must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in this testimony. I have an idea. Remember the box?
Objection!
This disc was deposited at Windibanks at Magnus McGilded's instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
conjecture again. In any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbroker again that night.
Objection!
Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true. What? Mr. McGilligan had another article in pawn at Windibanks, as the second pawnbroker's ticket proves it. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilligan in Windibanks' pawnbrokery, and the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one, together with your 2 accomplices, the Skulkin brothers. This is the second ticket, is it? What had the man deposited? The article description reads, 1 small box. Rather vague description it seems to be. Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft. That's a good point. Indeed. Witnesses make a solid argument. The witness makes a solid argument. So that means that for some reason, this Graydon fellow needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord. Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Ventix? I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windibanks' pawnbrokery. I trust assured the prosecution can prove it. You can? What? Good gracious! Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please. Yes, sir. What prints? These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras. Ah, Hurley's red-handed recorders again. As previously explained, using this plan of the shop layout, the victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windibank received his customers, and the other was set to capture the shelves on which articles were placed for sale once forfeited. According to the information in this ticket, McGilligan's small box had been forfeited already, 2 days before the incident at 9 p.m. on 13th April, to be precise. Which means it would have been down the shelves of forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's at 11 p.m. on 15th April. Okay. The victim certainly had a full shop, if it appears. And here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident. So we have 2 pictures to compare. Is it time to cross our eyes again? Cross your eyes. Oh, I must say that placing them side by side leaves me cold. I'm gonna try it. Trying to line it up. There we go. Anything popping out? That's weird. I do see something vaguely weird. Oh, and you can see it in the originals too. You don't even have to cross your eyes. Jimmy, it's starting to make a headache. Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we considered theft as one of the possible motives in the case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. So you men have already compared these 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector? Yes, sir. Not thoroughly enough. There's definitely a difference here. We counted every single item in each of these 2 photographic prints. And the yard's conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both. In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question. In my learned friend's assertion is something more than a hopeful fantasy. I don't believe it. If I could just have shown that he'd stolen Magilda's pawn box, I might have been able to break him down at last. You know what, Runo? I've been thinking. I wonder if these two photographs really are exactly the same. What? So, counsel, in the light of evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems to the fact on this night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion? I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these two photographic prints somewhere? Does it want me to use a piece of evidence or point out a discrepancy? Does it want me to do a stereoscope again? I mean, I have it. Before I give my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something, if I may. Try something? What you mean, counsel? I'll need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify the discrepancy. I'm not entirely sure I follow. Which piece of evidence do you intend to use to help you identify a discrepancy between the two prints? Maybe I didn't have to do it. Maybe if I had seen it, if I'd noticed it and pointed it out.
Take that!
Because I do see a difference between the two. I'd like to use this device, my lord, to view the two prints stereoscopically. Ooh! Yes, you've caught the bug at last! You can't resist it, can you? You've got the cross-eyed compulsion. Juror number 3. What a surprise. Excuse me. Come on, Runo. I was laughing. And, choked on my laughter. Come on, Runo. Let's put the pictures in place and see what this wonderful contraption shows us. Alright, look through the eyepiece. I'm gonna do it again just because it's fun. Oh. I just crossed my eyes in a different way this time, and it was so much easier. I don't know what happened. Oh, I know what it is. So before, I was looking past the image to cross my eyes. This time I was looking in front of the, more towards your nose to cross my eyes. And that works so much better and makes things so much clearer. And definitely makes that thing pop. That's the difference. So look forward. Don't look through the screen. Look in front of the screen. I wasn't sure at first, but there's a clear discrepancy between these two prints. And it's highlighting it for us. So if you couldn't do it, it highlights it for you. That's interesting. What? You must identify the location in question for the court counsel. Oh gee, I wonder where the discrepancy is. Yeah, I bet that if I had if I said I can point out the discrepancy, it would have just let me do it on one of the pictures. I bet that's the case.
Take that!
Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them. Oh, so I was given the thing so that, because it was saying that some people are better at it than others, so if I couldn't do it, and I was saying, oh, I wonder what would happen if you couldn't do it. If I couldn't do it, because I didn't have to identify the books in the skull being out of place and popping. They all said that. The stereoscope is there for me to solve this problem. But if I wanted to do it on my own, I could have pointed it out. I bet that that's the case. What? When you view the two pictures stereoscopically, a single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box. Wait. Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. By Jove, you're right. How extraordinary. What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGillicud's small box was indeed not stolen from Windibanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves. Are you suggesting that a small box originally deposited by Mr. McGillicud is in fact... Yes, the very same small box just identified in those photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? So a box was moved on the shelf, nothing was stolen, which means quite simply that nothing has changed. That may be true, but alright, McGillicud's box wasn't stolen then. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? Yeah, because it's a box. It had something in it, surely. I believe this changes everything about the case. How can that possibly be? The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windibanks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago cannot possibly be relevant to this trial. The court does not uphold your objection, Lord Van Zieks. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination. We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth. To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing. I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zieks. This is nothing but a smoke screen, Nipponese specialty, it would seem. What are you trying to say? My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGillicud from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place. Exactly! It would be beyond absurd to break up into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGillicud perished 2 months ago, immediately after the completion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which he was established he was the upstanding member of society his reputation implied. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense. What are you trying for here, buddy? The articles this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of the pockets, and a small box. I assure you, I wouldn't accept even if a man tried to make a gift of such things to me. Is this when I prove that the jacket wasn't ordinary? You know, that does make rather a lot of sense. It's not as if it was gold or jewels, is it? Goodness knows Mr. McGillicud was rich enough, but you can't go out of cash in pawnbrokery, I'm quite certain of that. The prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling. Do I have the jacket? I don't have the jacket, but I think it's in my portfolio. Whoops, not that. A little bit extra. No, I don't. I don't have it at all. That's unfortunate. What do I have here? evidence, now to bolster its argument. To explain what possible significance this commonplace arbiters pawned by this fine citizen could have. Well, counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the disc or the box are in any tangible way related to this case? Well, what's the matter, Runo? We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence. Yes, of course, you and I both know that. We know McGilda's true character, and we know that this is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explain all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGilda's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. Although the defense's argument was flawed, based on false information. Oh no! And that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury. But Ginny... Could it be that Van Zieks knows? Of course he does. He knew from the moment that we were in that case. Is that why he's doing this now? Because he anticipated everything? But maybe... this could be a great opportunity for us. Sorry? What do you mean, Iris? Well, what is that you always say, Rita? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time. Alright, the exact significance of the things that Mr. McGilda deposited. He didn't say Mr. again this time. Alright, the exact significance of the things McGilda deposited with Mr. Winterbank is something that only Gina can explain to the court. But if I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage our chances of winning this case. What's the right thing to do here? I think we're gonna have to do it, man. My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal. Oh, what proposal, counsel? While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilda's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand. The defendant? To what end? It's to do with various articles deposited at Winterbanks by Mr. McGilda, my lord. And Miss Lestrade has information related to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all. Oh, this will become interesting. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it would have on the accused's standings, and indeed your own. I have. Lord Van Zieks, will you care to explain that last remark? The prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the defendant and hear from the accused herself. Very well, if you have no objection. So the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. Your witnesses, currently in the stand, may step down until further notice. Then I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. As you wish. All right then, Gina. It's time. I know this will be hard, but please put your faith in me here. Good luck, Runo. Wait, is the fancy gentleman the other brother? Do we know anything about him? He's 27. Or he's just... Yeah, okay, never mind. The articles that Mr. McGilda had deposited in Winterbank's pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago. Yes, I remember this young lady being brought in before me for trial as well. That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilded. The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now here we are again. Here we all are again. The same players in the trial facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend? Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along one of his winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGillicuddy. Naturally, he was a prime suspect of the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. The murder, in fact, took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Mrs. Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilded died in this very courtroom in the most extraordinary of circumstances. Mystery which remains unsolved even now, 2 months later, as indeed does the omnibus murder itself. Be that as it may, I recall neither the disc nor the small box being mentioned in the course of the proceedings. Miss Lestrade. Would you tell the court now, please? What really happened on the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean? I don't know what you mean. I already said all I want to know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade. This is extremely important. But... if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. Naturally, you will lose all credibility to witness. Although, let's face facts, you have little credibility to lose. Ginny, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Runo now. Iris, we're on your side. Alright then. I'll talk. It's the right choice, Gina. My learned friend is bent on bringing this entire courtroom down on its ears. So be it. I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilded's pond articles in that extraordinary case in the omnibus harbor secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth, commodity sorely lacking in your original statements. This is it then, everything's going to come out. Like Van Ziek said, this could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears, but as a lawyer I'm prepared to take that risk. To the truth. Here we go. Truth is that Brickmaker Cove was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden I heard a scream from over me head, and a pair on the roof deck went out to call the slops. That's when McGilded slipped a driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch. I'll say nothing to no one about what I've seen or heard. Good grief, this is outrageous. What you've just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago. As you say, my lord. Then there's every chance I may have to agitate. I hate this word. I may have adjudicated an error in Mr. McGilded's trial. It sounds Looks very much to me that the man deliberately deceived the court in an effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes. Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in the trial of this witness and of my learned friend are entirely inexcusable. I don't believe it. The whole trial was a farce. It was all lies. That McGilded fellow was rotten to the core, just like that pickpocket. Don't forget that lawyer from the east. They were all in on that together. You're wrong, Eladia. Mr. Narado, the lawyer there, he didn't know nothing about it. Humbug. I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that? He really stitched everyone up, didn't he? An operation to get the man all scot-free. Unforgivable. Stop. The lies have to stop. Stop. Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it's imperative that our court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony, because the true significance of McGilded's Pond articles must be brought to light. Very well, my learned student friend. Given the depths of calamity you've just plunged yourself into, this may well be worth hearing. Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Narhood. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. Why me, Mr. Narado? Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. I'm just going to press everything because I need to get as much information as possible from her. And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath the seats? Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all. No, testimony 2 months ago. I feel certain that you claimed Mr. McGilded was the sole passenger, did you know? False testimony. That's what he told me I had to say. But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilded and the victim acquaintances? I don't know. But I did hear him talking a lot. What were they talking about? Well, I couldn't hear too well. But if I had to say... I think it was about money or something. They kept talking buying and not buying. Business dealings of some kind. Well, anyway, they got louder and louder. It started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I hardly dared to breathe, and then all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone keeling over on the floor. It was blue and loud and all. And I believe you let out an involuntary scream? Yeah. That's what gave me away.
Hold it!
Was the disc you saw this disc? Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to the cove line on the floor. Could this disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps? I don't know, but McGilded put it up pretty smartish. And then he set the cove with a knife in his belly up in the seat. What did he say to you at that time? He told me not to say a word about what I've seen or heard to no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared the way he was looking at me. I thought, if I didn't go along with it, I'd get stuck with that knife too. Then he started asking me little questions. Like what my name was and where I lived and that. Asked where I was being a diver too. But after a while, what had happened in the carriage was noticed. Yeah, that's right. First there was a kind of rapping noise. There were 2 gentlemen occupying the seats in the roof deck, I believe. That's right. They must have looked down through the skylight and noticed the cove with the knife in its guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled over the horses and McGilded got me out of sight. Out of sight. Where? Back under the seat where I started off. Once the carriage came into an halt, the two ghosts from the roof ran to fetch the stops. They immediately left to fetch the police. It appeared they were entirely unrelated to the incident. So that left Mr. McGilded, the driver, and you still at the scene. Yeah, only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and a voice from outside. The driver, yes. He also testified at the trial, I believe. A fellow who went by the name of Beppo, if memory serves. What did McGilded and the driver say to each other? I don't know what happened, and stuff like that, mainly. That's when McGilded stopped. Oh.
Hold it!
And that pawn shop obviously being Winnebago's on Baker Street. Just a moment, counsel. Do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in that trial as well? Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbroker slipped his mind from the stand. Indeed, Lord Van Zeeks. McGilded took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up all carefully before handing it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, Conan, what's in it? It's gotta be worth a few bob. Yeah, Gina was sure the disc must be worth more than Mr. Windebank was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbling with him over the price that afternoon at the pawnbrokery. The driver looked pretty happy when McGilded flashed some brass in the face, so he went running off like lit. Had a lick. Then the bog trotter called me and told me to come out from the drag's cabin.
Hold it!
Threaten you how exactly? Told me I only able to scarper if I did exactly what he said. Which included giving false testimony 2 months ago. Yeah, that's it. And there was another thing he said. Which was... He told me I have to hang on the ticket for the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it. Tickets? Well, I never. Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months passed, I had to go to the pawn shop and pay him money to keep it in luck. Stop it from being forfeited. He left me with some brass to pay for it. But really, why on earth would Mr. McGill have done such a thing? Depositing his overcoat to the pawnbroker before the arrival of the police makes no sense at all. And there would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGilded had the driver deposit at Windebanks was something he didn't want the police to see. And something very important that he needed to hide at all costs. Anyway, after that, he let me go, so I laid dibby for the copper show. Well done, Gina. Can't have been easy to tell the truth like that. Gina's really put her faith in you, Reno. Yeah, and to thank her, she'll have to face the charge of perjury once the trial's over. So I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible. It's time to really go for it. Pressure on every statement. I suppose I should. Oh, and another thing. What's that? Take a look at those two. Isn't it strange they've been whispering to each other the entire time? I was wondering why that guy's back was turned. I thought he was just ignoring her. Part of his dance moves. Yes, that is strange. It looks like they're having a secret discussion about something. I'm not sure I'm completely comfortable with that. I wonder if there's anything I can do about it. I guess just press something and then interrupt it. Gentlemen. Detective.
Excuse me!
Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Graydon? Inspector, Mr. Graydon. Blimey, you're trying to give me a heart attack. You have been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is the discussion about? Discussion? With this fella? Pull the other one, Sunshine. You think I got anything to talk about with a shady gent like this? But I have nothing to say to this uncouth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine. but they've clearly been talking the entire time I've been cross-examining Gina. It's as if they've been negotiating. Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, Consul. I've heard enough. I believe we now have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus. It would appear on that night 2 months ago, a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. Speaking of negotiating, a negotiation concerning this disc, however, matters did not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over price, Mr. McGilded took what he wanted by force. I keep saying Mr. even though they don't. At the expense of the other man's life. Which proves my point. The disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way. Though I don't understand why as yet. And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, McGilded's coat and its contents are due to be forfeited. I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, the cove died right after his trial. I knew that. So you decided you would try to claim the articles as your own. Well, why not, eh? They were only going to be forfeited. Why should I have a gun? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking ain't no crime. Miss Lestrade, it would appear Mr. McGilded was prepared to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be? Eh? I ain't got a clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He was probably going to sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking ain't no crime. My lord! The evidence your lordship records that it has been located and is ready for the court's inspection, sir. The box. A mysterious little box deposited by McGilded 2 months ago. There's no doubt in my mind that's the key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. Alright. There's a lot happening here. The negotiations, both mentioned. The box. Everything that went down in courts 2 months ago. This is all coming to a head, isn't it? Well, about time anyway, because we are in the last part of the game. So, you know, it should all come and be revealed. All secrets revealed in the next episode. Yeah, all secrets revealed in the next episode. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you guys then.